How do you define your story? This has really been on my heart. How we define our story really, it matters so much. Just like everything else, our perspective on our perspective changes how we act and what we do and how we feel. And Jesus really had me on this page of defining our story. So as I've been thinking about this verse of Psalms 107:2, let the redeemed tell their story. That verse has just become just an anthem of my heart because it took my story from being my story to being his story, and it wasn't about me anymore. And as I thought about my own life, I started seeing places where I had defined my story as a diary entry. And maybe that's where you're at. Like you're writing your story and it's hidden away. It's locked away because you feel ashamed of it. You don't want to share these parts of yourself. I hear you and I see you, and there are parts that are still tucked away in my own story, but I'm watching the more time I spend with Jesus, he is unlocking those pieces. The different people he has me interact with in community, I get to unlock more of that. But as I thought about that verse, and I just continue to think about it, let the redeemed tell their story. It's what he's doing. And even when we can't see what he's doing, that is still a part of our story. Saying, right now, I can't hear Jesus that well. He feels distant. But I know his word says he is here. And I'm just going to keep trusting that. That's a part of it. And admitting, like, I don't really feel it right now. So it matters how you define it. So is it a diary entry, something that is tucked away? Or I'm going to post it note here. There we go. Or is it something you feel has been talked about? I know that can be kind of a scary feeling. If I share this, people are going to know, and they're going to talk about it. You know, it becomes gossip. Been there too. But again, how do you define it? Because if our stories are not our own, then when we share them, we need to trust that God is going to steward them and take care of them. And we need to trust him with them. And that's when this overwhelming fire lit up in my heart. I began to define my stories just this year, just last couple weeks, as worship. Our stories are worship. And I've read so many pages in the Word that talks about the power of worship. It has stopped armies in their places. It has stilled the sun. It has created oceans to part. Worship. And so the more I thought about that, the more my heart just lit up. Our stories are worship, and they're not our own. And that gave me hope too, because if it's not mine, then I have nothing to worry about when I share it. That's another step of trusting Jesus and trusting his timing and the person I get to share with, or the prayer I get to pray with. I get to say, yes, You are not alone. I have walked where you walked, or even saying I haven't. I have not walked where you have walked, but my heart aches as yours does. It matters so much. I think it matters more now than ever. How will you choose to define your story? Will you tuck it away? Will it stay hidden as a diary entry, or will it become worship? And it takes steps. It does. It takes steps. And you're not alone in those steps. Today, if those parts of you feel hidden and you're wondering how to unlock them, it starts with community. I remember the first time I gave my life to Jesus. It was with my mom, who I had grown up in church my entire life. So to tell my mom, I went to this women's retreat and I came back knowing Jesus wants me. I knew I was going to get met with